Welcome to Storytime with Herbal Roots zine. I'm Kristine Brown, and today I'm going to read to you a story that I wrote for Herbal Roots zine from issue number 34, Wondering About Walnut. You might have sampled walnuts in salads or cookies. The nut meat is prized for eating, and it's also pressed to create walnut butter, which is similar to peanut butter, or walnut oil, which can be used for cooking. The trees can be tapped in the spring, similarly to maple trees, for sap collection, which can be cooked down to make walnut syrup and sugar. Medicinally, the leaf, the dried inner bark, the green hull, the rotten hull, and the nut are all used for medicine. So black walnut is best known for his use for fungal issues such as ringworm and athlete's foot. As an astringent, walnut is great for diarrhea. Walnut is also well known for his use in expelling parasites from the body and is often used in wormer formulas for pets and livestock, as well as herbal wormers for humans. In addition to being edible and medicinal, walnut wood is used for building furniture and trim in houses, as well as burned for firewood. The hard black walnut shell is used commercially in abrasive cleaning, cosmetics, and more. Many parts of the tree can also be used as a dye. The leaves will give off a greener color, while the hulls give a variety of shades from golden brown to deep brown, depending on when they were harvested and used. The hulls are also boiled in water and the liquid boiled down to make brown ink. So that's just a few ways that we can use black walnut. Today's story is Black Walnut's Creation. A long time ago, after the stars were born, but before the earth was fully inhabited, Mother was creating her flora and fauna children. She had great plans to create all the beautiful flora and then fill the amazing forests, prairies, and oceans with fauna to appreciate and use the plants she so carefully created. Each new moon was dedicated to creating new fauna, and each full moon she would create several new plants, putting much thought into each when deciding what special gifts each would possess. She smiled gently as she recalled some of the sweet plants. Mullein, so tall and grand, capable of healing spinal problems and earaches. Rose, for heartache, full of vitamins and natural healing, for when her 2- and 4-legged creatures became ill. And dandelion, so bright and cheerful and bitter, but also so full of vitamins and minerals, and the first to arrive in spring, bringing his medicine. Some plants were more subtle in their uses. Poison ivy would cause an irritating rash to those who trespassed against her without paying attention. Indeed, her gift was to remind the 2-legged fauna of awareness. Boisterous burdock, with his clingy seed heads, offered much more than the frustration of trying to remove his seed heads from tangled hair and clothing. His roots were rich with minerals, offering a deep wealth of medicine to those who would take the time to look past the annoyance and dig deep into the ground. Still others were there for their sheer beauty, it seemed. Zinnias, bergamot, calendula, and clover. Beyond their beauty was food for the insects and medicine for the 2-legged. So this time, she decided to focus on food for the 2- and 4-leggeds. Chestnut trees and sunchokes, sunflowers and persimmons, apples and peaches and pears, and more. Each plant she created became more and more elaborate, and finally she came to her last plant, the walnut tree. She thought to herself, this is my last plant of the day today. Whatever shall I do for him? She studied the tree she had created. He had rough bark and secreted strong substances that many other plants were sensitive to, and his seeds were surrounded by thick hulls that turned black and gooey when they fell to the ground. This will never do. This poor tree will be loathed by everyone. No one will want anything to do with him, not animals or plants. What can I do to make him more attractive? she thought for a while. A gray squirrel sat on a rock, chattering and looking for something to eat. He climbed the walnut tree and searched for food. "Oh," exclaimed Mother, "I shall make his seeds edible, delicious, and wonderful to anyone willing to work through the hulls and hard shells to get to them." And so walnut became one of the most flavored nuts that grew in the area. Another of her creatures, a deer, wandered by the tree and began nibbling restlessly at the leaves and hulls of the walnut tree. Mother noticed his restlessness and asked what was wrong. The deer explained that he felt wormy and was seeking out some medicine to help rid his intestines of the worms. "A great idea," rejoiced Mother. "Walnut leaves and hulls shall offer medicine to those suffering from parasites and fungi." And so walnut became well known as the anti-parasitic and antifungal across the land. Beaver came over to the tree and began chewing on the trunk of one of the walnut trees. The tree fell down and the inside shone bright white, as every other tree in the valley did. Beaver sighed and said, "Wouldn't it be lovely if there was a tree that was darker in color to provide me with some dark accents for my home?" For the beaver was quite the decorator of the valley. "Dark wood? What a great idea," Mother thought aloud. "Walnut shall have beautiful dark wood from now on. Chew down another tree, Beaver, and see that it is so." Beaver did so and gasped with delight at the dark richness of the wood. And so walnut became prized for his beautiful, rich, dark wood grain. "Just one more thing," Mother pondered. "Those hulls are still really gooey and people aren't going to want to mess with them." She looked down into a puddle of water that had gathered next to the tree. A green walnut hull had fallen into the puddle, and the puddle was now a dark brown. Aha! When the hulls are green, they shall make beautiful brown dye that will be admired. This will entice people to gather them up before they turn dark and gooey. And so walnut became known as a premier dye, so strong that no mordant is necessary. And from that day forward, walnut has grown and offered us his many gifts. And so how shall you use them? I hope you enjoyed today's story. If you'd like to learn more about walnut, you can find the walnut ebook in my shop. I'll put a link in the description. Thanks for visiting Herbal Roots Zine for Storytime, and I'll see you next time.